It goes quick, man. Once you hit the button, it goes quick. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Yep. How you guys doing?
Charlie, are you
Having
back? Are you back to Snickers again?
yes, I am.
I just saw somebody was messaged me and said, "Are you guys still on? You guys still doing your show?" I guess this was someone that was used to watch us last year. I said, "Yes, we are." And it said, "Are you guys still doing the candy in the beginning?" I said, "No, we're not." And I lied because look, Charlie is eating a Snicker bar.
Hmm.
That looks really good, Charlie.
Woo.
How you stay, my man? How you stay?
Well, you know, I can only say that where I'm
I
at.
just I just gotta show my this is my shirt
Yep.
today. Pray every day, guys. That's all I got to say. Pray every day.
So where I'm at every day, touching some problems. Different people trying to sneak in. No vaccinations, no testing, just sneak right on you. And you saw on the news tonight. Looks like a father and son duo on Oahu, Oahu, I should say, used a fake vaccination card to get into the state. This is what I will say, Mel. What made anybody think that those that are in power, giving us the message that we had nothing to worry about, and now they're scrambling? Because why? The message they gave all of us has caused us to fall way behind the eight ball when it comes to combating this virus because the numbers got so out of control. Now they changed their tune. And you know what I can't stand? Individuals who can't, for the life of them, just send a message out that they're wrong, but we're going to make it better. I would respect them more. But to go through life as if they never said anything wrong, and yet they're clearly begging that we all conform so we can fight this virus. To me, that is wrong. And I just say that because I'm over it already. You know, this monkey business of telling lies over and over again, it cannot continue. So many people getting affected. And you know this safe travel BS that they talk about? How safe is it? It got to the point that they gotta manipulate number counts. Come on. So anyway, that's just Charlie Iona's 2 cents. How you doing, everybody?
Well, we definitely got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. That's one of them. And I kind of want to kind of fill the time until 7 o'clock so that we can get our viewers on. I know a lot of you guys missed us last night. I apologize. Last night was just not a good night for us to come on. So yeah, Terrence, thank you. I will have Patsy stop by the salon tomorrow to get my cocoa bars, energy bars, man. Oof, killer. But anyway, yeah, I apologize we didn't come on last night, but we are on tonight. Tomorrow night we're gonna have it'll be a fun night tomorrow. We get three hotel workers that's gonna come on, Charlie, and they're gonna share their insights from their perspective, working in the visitor industry. One on the Big Island, two on Kauai. Um, and it'll be a fun night tomorrow night. And
Mhm.
Laurel, appreciate you guys asking about my daughter. I was just on the phone with her before we came on. Poor thing. She's, you know, and that was one of the reasons why I just did. There's no way I could have done a show last night, but um, she still has the symptoms. She's at home. Oxygen level is good. It goes up and down, but it basically stays 95 and above. So she's doing well. She has the cough. She has no appetite. She doesn't have a taste, no smell. We're hoping that it stays with these minor symptoms, but it's very difficult when she's thousands and thousands of miles away. And last night, we were trying to text her and she didn't respond. And Patsy tried to text her, try to call, she didn't answer. And Charlie, this. I mean, any parent knows this. That the stupid thoughts that go through your head. Patsy and I, neither of us got a good. I had to stay home today from work because I didn't get any sleep. Neither did Patsy, but she's a lot stronger than I, so she went to work. But at 4:30 in the morning, I texted her again, and she replied, and she said she apologized because she had fallen asleep. But so we have a little code now. Before she lay her head or before she lay down, she can just text us with a sleepy emoji, so we know that she's gonna go to sleep. So, but she's doing doing better, I would say, but still with the doggone symptoms, and she is under a doctor's care. So we just pray for her, and I appreciate all you guys' prayers, But again, we talked about this the other night. I'm not sure if I think Charlie had already left when I said, eventually it'll get personal to everybody. All of our viewers from day one, it became personal when Charlie lost his brother. It became personal, even though we didn't know the brother. Many of you didn't even know Charlie, but the bond, the connection was there, and we went on that journey with Charlie, and it ended in a very tragic manner. So, but at some point, everyone is gonna be touched by COVID, and then maybe people will realize how bad this thing is. So as we go through day by day, and hoping that when we wake up, that the governor, lieutenant governor will have that maybe the light switch went on, and but it doesn't happen. It's every day. It's like they jump in the car, like the checker mobile, from Checkers and Pogo, Charlie. They get in their little checker mobile and they put them in reverse. And they go backwards. And they're proud of that. That's what I don't understand. They're so proud of what they're doing, even though they should know that they're going backwards. Yesterday on the news, or was it today? They had Lieutenant Governor Josh Green and Mayor what the hell is his name? Blangiardi at the hospital. Charlie, I'm sorry, I got one weird. Charlie and I both, we laugh when we please don't take it in the wrong way. I laugh because of the stupidity of it, right? Charlie, for what, a year and a half now, we've had guest after guest after guest. We've had expert after expert after expert telling us what to look out for. We've had medical personnel crying on post Facebook, on the news, telling about how overwhelmed they were months ago, right? And he goes with the lieutenant governor, Blangiardi lieutenant governor, goes to the hospital, does their little rah-rah speech, and it comes out and basically says, wow, these people are overworked. Oh my God, you don't want to get this disease. Like, but a terrible leader, man. If you don't know what's happening in the trenches, hang it up, buddy, because you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business. So I don't know what I thought of you, Charlie. When I saw that clip, I thought of you, bro. I was like, Charlie must be blowing a gasket. Charlie is very familiar with hospital setting, ran security in hospitals. He knows his stuff.
Well, I practice this technique. It's a way of showing disgust, but not overtly being disgusted. And this is how you do it. When something stupid like that happens, you go like this. Yeah. That's all you do. You blow air through your lips, make them flutter a little bit. That sends the signal to the other party. Hey, stupid. What you thinking? What were you thinking? Right? It's like you go into a garage and somebody spilled gas all over the place. And one Lolo decides to light a match to light his cigarette, and the thing goes up in flames. What were you thinking? Same analogy. What were you thinking? You put it out there that we're okay. We're not closing anything down. We could have prevented what's happening now. You know, with everybody, like people planning their weddings for months at a time, right? We could have prevented all of this hardship if we set up the dragnet earlier because we saw the numbers climb, right? We could have held those numbers down. Now, some may say, well, you don't know that. Yeah, if you live in Oahu, you don't know that because you guys never did it. On Kauai, we've done it and we've seen the numbers being held down. When we had resort bubbles, or we had people coming here that had to test out or secondary testing, we did everything that all of the other islands didn't want to do. And we have data to show that we held the numbers down. Now, all these individuals are saying, oh, wow, I never knew it was going to be like that. But you think we enjoy coming on and get frustrated for nothing? We're pleading with state government to please just try it one time. Just try it. See if it works. They didn't even do that. So that's where we're at now.
My Auntie Mary Medeiros, again, retired nurse, military, private. I mean, I love this woman. My girlfriend just texted me that Australia is completely shutting down for 7 days. Must stay home except for medical doctor appointment or emergency worker. Cannot even go grocery store or school. That's where we're heading, people. That's where we're heading. I don't want that. You know, and like Charlie just said, if we had implemented the steps necessary 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when we knew, when Delta started showing up, and we knew, and if you listen to the UH experts, if you listen to the infectious disease specialists, and I'm not just talking about the ones on our show, I'm talking about any one of them. They should have started the tweaking of the order 3 weeks ago. I can assure you, well, I cannot assure you because they're not touching the travel, right? They're still not touching the travel. I'm getting really pissed off about this 2% crap. It's a diversion. It's a distraction. The bottom line is, and I have a little picture for show. Actually, I know they watch. I know the governor has his people watch this. I know that the lieutenant governor, I think he watches it live. So I might be getting another text pretty soon. But there's a lot of our leaders that actually watch the show or have their staff watch the show. So I did a picture, Charlie, tonight because I'm getting tired of having to explain myself. I don't use the word visitor. I say travelers. I say test pre and post test for travelers, not tourists. Travelers, including returning residents. Yeah.
Let's give a clap to Loretta Okimoto.
Okay.
Because she said, after seeing your last show, I went to Costco and received my first shot yesterday.
Oh. Who is this?
Loretta Okimoto.
Loretta.
Right on, Loretta.
I feel like we said the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Right on, Loretta.
I'm actually asked my son, and if my daughter is well enough to come on Friday, I asked my son and my daughter to come on for a little while to share with this is good for you, those of you that have kids that are on the fence, young, I shouldn't say kids, that generation of kids that are just not thinking. There'll be a good opportunity to get them in front of the show because I'm going to have my son and my daughter, hopefully she's well enough to do it, explain to all of you why they didn't take the vaccine. And my son will explain why he eventually took the vaccine. And my daughter will explain why she will take the vaccine after she got COVID. But I think it's important. Loretta, I love you, girl. Don't know who you are. I don't think we've met. But that I had to change the subject because I would honestly would get emotional. I'm a soft guy. And when I hear people like that, I get emotional because that's why we do what we do. That's why we bring experts on. That's why we bring people like Sean on. So people can see the real, not the political side of the crap, But anyway, if we had gone 3 weeks ago, if we had done what we should have done 3 weeks ago, we would be nowhere. And I'm talking about adding the unsafe travel programs fix. So let me just do this right now, Troy, real quick. Just get this out of the way. On the top, V, visitor. On the bottom, R, resident. Together, they make up travel, travelers. Visitor arrives in Hawaii. I don't care what island. I'm sorry, let's start with the resident. Resident arrives in Hawaii at about day 5. I'm going to use day 5. About day 5, they start getting sick or they realize, holy moly, I'm not feeling good. Or they're responsible residents and they say, you know what, guys, we're going to the convention hall and get one test just so we can protect our ohana. So they get to day 4, day 5, whatever it is, they test and we find out they're positive. Okay. That's what we're seeing. The visitors come in, same scenario. About day 3, day 4, day 5, oh shit, I get the sniffles, my throat's sore. I'm not going to test. 2% go to the doctor because they're too sick. But the rest of them, they blow their nose, they wipe their ocoles, they clean their doodle diapers, and then they go home. And what happens after that is a big question mark. See, this is what I talk about travelers. I'm not talking about visitors or residents. Everybody needs to get tested. Right now, if you look at the visitor, after they get sick, or they may not even get sick, there could be asymptomatic positive people. And we'll never see them again because they get on that plane and they go right back home. And whether they test positive up there or not, it doesn't matter. But in the meantime, they have left a trail of COVID. And this is what pisses me off when all of these knuckleheads on TV, all of our leaders come out and say, we only have a 2% visitor. Blangiardi said that today. 2%. Stop using the term visitor. Travel.
Yep.
These guys aren't being tested. So it's not about visitors. It's not. We test everybody on day 4 after they arrive. You know how many visitor cases we would have, Charlie? I would bet the same proportion as to the residents, because you see, this virus doesn't care if you're a resident or a visitor. When you're in Vegas or in Texas or Florida, and you walk into a visitor and a local Hawaii resident going to a crowd that's COVID positive, what do these guys actually believe, that the visitor not gonna get infected and only the local resident? Come on, man. Come on. So anyway, I wanted to paint the pictures for the people that can understand. I'm talking about our leaders that watch our show and they keep talking about this 2% bullshit. No, they need to see the reality. And this is what we talk about when we talk about the Unsafe Travel Program. And I hope the picture makes it much more clear.
Yes. You know, there's this thought that I had the other night, and because working at an airport, I like people to smile when they come. I don't dislike them. I never did. I just want them to smile and be happy, but yet I want them to be cautious and help us out. I would do the same if I went to their home state. I would do everything possible to be welcomed and just do what is asked of anybody in their home state. I wouldn't do anything different. And what I see sometimes is the systems that we implement is largely to blame. If you're going to implement a system to capture those who are not who are possibly positive at the airport, you got to do a full court press. You cannot be half okole about it. It's not going to work, because you do it, something slips through the cracks, and then it manifests itself later on in the community. Then you blame community spread. No, we had a chance to properly stop it at the ports of entry, right? But the state is just not doing its best to do that. And that is the reason why I keep on getting these notions that, how safe are we? I mean, if you were to stand in my shoes and see what I see every day, like I said, I enjoy seeing little ones smiling with their parents, traveling here. I enjoy that. Being responsible. As they wait for their rides, they're covered up. Then I see those that just don't give a hoot and they walk as if they own the bloody place. That's the difference I see. And this virus is spreading so rapidly. When COVID first struck, we knew that there would be a spread, but there was always that debate: is it airborne? Could it be that um, uh, what you exhale will land on a surface and someone comes in contact and they touch themselves? The debate was, the jury was out probably the whole time because there was a lot of what ifs, right? Then all of a sudden, Delta came on board, and all of a sudden, it was like on wildfire. And the more water you shoot on them, the fire got bigger. Guess what, state? You should have told yourself, if a fire grows bigger after you shoot water, try check to see it. Is it possibly gasoline? Because liquid is liquid, right? But not all liquids are the same. One is flammable and one is not. So you folks decide to play this game, and basically, instead of shooting water on the fire, you decide to shoot more gasoline and made it bigger. Now you're at the OS syndrome. And I don't want to repeat that word, but O is like, oh, burp. That's right. That's what happens. That's what happens. So I
Yeah.
feel better now since I got that off my chest, but I'll probably start up again because now it's moved down to my ankles and then it'll move down to my toes and I'll get a little bit upset. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we talked about the messaging. We talked about, I wanna stay on the topic of this governor's order for a little bit because he came out yesterday all proud. This again, like what they should have known 2 3 weeks ago, a month ago. All of a sudden, the time to act is now. Okay, so we put out this new requirements, restrictions: 10 indoors, 25 outdoors. But airplanes, not a problem. Airports, not a problem. Churches, not a problem. Weddings, not a problem. Structured events. What the hell is a structured event? That's what it says in his order. And then any professionally organized. You see, this virus is so smart, Charlie, that if you, Charlie Iona, with all your security background, and you wanted to put out a wedding for your daughter, or let's say you were doing something for me, it was planning my birthday. September 5th is my birthday. Hint, hint. But let's say you were planning a birthday party, 100 people, Charlie, for Mel Raposo.
Yeah.
And we would do it at, I don't care, anywhere that we could effectively have 6 foot distance. And we could have a stage up there and have entertainers 6 feet apart and practice all the safety protocols, right? Charlie, that's illegal for you to do that. But if you go out and hire, like the guy that had done a concert at Poipu Health Club, the professionally organized concert that had way more than an approved number of people, everyone never wasn't wearing masks, and they were all shoulder to shoulder. That is okay, Charlie. You see, that is okay. And the real thing about this, they're so smart, this virus, that when it goes into an airplane or an airport, it only hits the local people. It knows the visitor and it stays away, according to the governor and the lieutenant governor and Mayor Blangiardi and Mayor, all these other, Roth, whatever his name is. So you put out this big body, you make big body. It's like that boxer that jump around, bounce around, they ring the bell, the first punch from the opponent, boop, knockout. You go up there and you make this big production and you're proud of this big production, but what have you really done? Nothing, right? Because nothing else has changed except for the local family, they like get one little cookout at their house. Even if they're gonna wear masks and practice social distancing, you cannot do that. But you can go into a bar and do it in a bar. You see, Charlie, I could take my 12-man party, the boys, football Sunday, and we couldn't come watch at my house, but we can go to the bar and do it at the bar. We get other people that I don't know that not wearing masks. See, it makes no damn sense. And that's why I'm thinking, do these people, do they have advisors that tell them, hey, governor, maybe you wanna not make any exemptions, right? Why would you make an exemption? If this virus is as bad as you say, which it is, then it really doesn't matter. Now they're saying, of course, in his press conference, he said churches was included, right, in the indoor social gatherings. But today, his office issued a correction. No, churches are exempt. Now, I know I'm going to offend a lot of you, but if you know me, you know, it's not that I don't care. I'm going to be real. Churches have been one of the most high-risk venues since this all started. Every island has had clusters at places of worship. I believe in God. Look at my shirt. Come on, guys. I believe in God. I rely on God. Every night I pray. Every morning I pray. I believe in God. I don't have to go to church to worship and pray. So when you come out and you say, hey, you 10, you 25 churches, well, it's up to the counties now, not a county. So we'll see what our mayor does. But if you're going to allow the churches, which are known to be clusters, then you defeat the purpose of this whole new order. And I just don't understand the logic, Charlie. I don't understand the logic. This virus don't care if you're a Christian, a Buddhist, a Jew, Jewish. It doesn't matter. All it needs to do is come into your nostril and you're done. It doesn't matter where you're at. So I'm kind of disappointed and waiting to see what our mayor does. I'm hoping that he will, he will make the restriction everywhere. Everywhere. So in your household, Charlie, in your household with your friends or your neighbor, you cannot. But you can go to a bar, 50%, right? So 50, depending on the size of your bar, you could have 50 people, 60 people.
You know, it baffles me that when ideas such as that can be plan hatched, right? I'm just wondering at what executive table and who were the stakeholders at that table? Was it Spanky and our gang? Was it the Three Stooges? Who was it? I sure as hell no wasn't collaborative, business-minded people. Because
I know who had one seat was the restaurant association, and I can only imagine who the rest. They spoke to the restaurant guy, right? He said, "Yeah, we saw it coming, and it's not going to affect us because we're doing it anyway." See, so the governor was smart enough to go as far as it won't impact his friends, but to the public, he thought the public was going to say, "Oh yes, governor." Well, no, you never do nothing, governor, and he will find out the hard way when the case counts come on.
Well, let's do this. Let's just say, for instance, they come out with a plan that shows great decline in numbers. I would give them such a standing round of ovation because I can say on a stack of Bibles that I am convinced we have this puppy under control, right? But will they ever do that? They've been in this mode for redemption for a long time. Not once have they come before the people of Hawaii for redemption. And I don't mean that they got to plead their case. All I'm saying is talk educated and get some numbers turned the other way. So they can say with some certainty, we believe that this will work. And proof is in the pudding, right? I will buy off on it. Why shouldn't I? They conduct a study, shows it's bringing the numbers down. That's what we want, right? That's the ultimate goal. But we're not even anywhere near that. And that's a disheartening thing about it.
Well, there's two ways. There's two ways, Charlie, to lower the numbers. There's two ways.
Yeah, just not test enough.
Okay,
That's
three
one way.
ways. Three ways. Tyson is going to be on our show tomorrow night. He will share his story tomorrow night.
So the three
So three
ways are,
ways.
yeah.
Number
So
one
you,
is number one is don't do as much testing. Bingo. Exactly. I forgot about that one. Number two is enforce all the restrictions, the accurate and the correct restrictions, and make sure it's followed. And the third, which is what we saw today, sorry guys, we had a computer glitch, so we're releasing some partial numbers. So today we only had 400 something cases. That's the third way, and that's the second time in 2 weeks that we've had that glitch.
so am I to assume that because today was a glitch in the 400s, that possibly it was much higher than that?
Absolutely, the computer had shut down for 20 hours.
So it's
They said
it's
they said they're gonna make it. They're gonna bring it up to speed in the next 2 days. Oh, Thursday and Friday. Yeah, next 2 days.
and how do they plan on doing that? Huh? How are these knuckleheads going to do that?
Well, tomorrow gonna come out 800 something, but they're gonna say, but don't get all worried because that's some of the glitch numbers. They did it the last 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago.
Why don't they go into an ICU and do and release some numbers? Goes, hi gang, this is Uncle Charlie Yona coming to you live on the Queens Medical Center ICU unit. That glitch we're talking about, it was the numbers are much lower than we expected, and everybody behind you in the bed coughing. Yeah, okay. Then I would say, hey brother, who's that behind you? As you spewing that pilau stuff out of your mouth. That's called lies. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I posted. I said, this is why people don't trust our government because of these kinds of things. You cannot tell me. Well, then I guess in Hawaii, the ones that cannot get the unemployment paychecks out either. But I know a lot of people has been posting a lot about where's our mayor, where's Derek? He's been quiet, he's been this, he's been that. I can tell you, Derek was at the press conference. He's been on several interviews, and I am gonna give some props to Derek and his team because if not for Derek and his team, we wouldn't have the numbers that we get, the Kauai numbers. Derek and I, obviously I know Derek, and we have chatted. I actually had a long discussion with his chief of staff today on other issues, but he has been doing his best to keep Kauai on the forefront, and we got to admit, he has done a hell of a job. So I understand the frustrations in a lot of people, but this governor and this executive branch, trying to reach consensus with the four mayors, I think we just got to wait and see how much more tolerant Derek was going to be before he starts to do things differently. But and the reason I brought that up was because if the state wanted to produce numbers that are accurate, why not just use Kauai's model? It's the same Department of Health. We're using all the same labs to do the tests. So why is it that Kauai can get our numbers to the T, broken down by visitor, resident, adult, child, travel or not travel? Why can't the state do the same? Two reasons, right? One, they just don't get it. Or number two, they don't want to release the accurate numbers. And I think it's a shame. So use Kauai as a model. Do what Kauai does as far as the reporting, so we can get the accurate numbers. Now, Charlie, we all, it's all kapakahi now. And they're making decisions based on faulty data. That's what bugs me. You're making decisions based on faulty data, and you call yourself a leader? Come on, man. Come on.
Yep.
So I don't know where we go from here, man. I think we just sit back. We talked about the personal lockdowns. We don't need the governor to do anything, guys. We again, I know you get sick and tired of hearing it, but we got to do what we got to do. We got to mask up. We got to stay away from gatherings. We got to do what we got to do. You got a concert coming up. Why would you go? Oh, because I'm vaccinated. Really? You know that the guy that gave my daughter COVID was vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And there were 5 of them in their group. I don't know the status of the others, but you know, I don't know what to. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. It's not about you. It's about the people that you're gonna spread it to. So
Yeah.
personal lockdown, guys. Personal lockdown. You do what you need to do to keep you and your loved ones safe.
Well, everything is based on actions, right? I think for most part, those who are faithful to the cause have said and acted in a responsible manner to keep themselves, their family safe. I think those that are in government that kind of stretch the truth a little, they went for the big 1-2 knockout punch. And guess what? They fell far short from that. They fell far short. So that's how the game is played. And you know, the sad thing about it is the collateral damage is innocent people, innocent lives are affected. That's the collateral damage. That's always how people, yeah. Are you the one going in a ring fight or is it me? Because if you're not going to go in, don't tell me how to fight my fight. If you're going in, I let you do what you like do. That's just how I am. We get too many people from our sidelines telling them how to fight this damn thing. And we're trying to tell them, yeah, we tried that the last time, but they didn't work. That's why I like try them this time. And we keep on saying, we tried. Because why? This state has left us in no way better off than what we were before. They didn't leave us any breathing room. You know, we got to do things. We got to, and again, some people you know, got tagged by this virus. And I hope and pray that they can weather the storm. They can weather the storm. And then there are some that wants to jump on the bandwagon now, but have no clue what everybody else has been going through for the last year. So
Yeah.
that's where it's at, brother.
I mean, I think it's unfortunate though, but we're starting to see now the numbers in the schools starting to rise. I think today I'm reading some of the posts. I see Kapaa Elementary, I see Waimea High School. I know we had Kincaid the other day. I mean, we're going to start seeing more and more cases, and again, I totally agree that the kids need to go back in a class. I agree, and we knew that last year. Right, we knew that. We didn't know enough of the virus last year for school, so we kind of freaked out and was overcautious. But Charlie, this is what pisses me off:
Mhm.
is we had a year to make the adjustments. I've been reading, and this is no dig on our legislators, but I see all the money's being released for sporting complexes and different programs that, in my opinion, are not essential during a pandemic. I still think the state has enough money, not even talking about those capital improvement projects. I just think why couldn't we have made the modifications necessary? Outdoor classrooms, extensions, anything that would make this environment for our kids safe so we could provide the adequate social distancing, the adequate ventilation. You cannot tell me that we couldn't have done that in a year. Remember now, this was a year that a lot of people were out of work. A lot of contractors were out of work. That we had an opportunity to put these people to work and take care of our school facilities. So when the school year opened up, if COVID was still around, because back then I think they all thought it was going to be done by now, even though the experts said it was going to be around for a while. But had we done that, we could get our kids in classes in front of their teachers in a safe environment and little or no cases. But now we hundreds of cases already in the state, and we just 1 week. So,
Yep.
and again, the way they jump on the and we know this is true, the contagiousness of this virus. But in the school, and when the governor came out and said that it was worth the risk, he made that comment at his press conference. that he understands that there's a risk, but the kids need to be in school and it's worth the risk. No, it's not worth the risk, Governor. You should not be putting our kids at risk. You, as a governor, should have gotten your DAGs or whatever office takes care of that and made the adjustments to these classrooms so the kids could go in and be safe. That's your job. That's your job. And you failed. You didn't do it. Everything was just put aside, hoping that this virus was going to be gone. But you were wrong. And now you just putting our kids in harm's way. I pray hard every night for our kids. Charlie, you know what it's like to have a loved one with COVID. Many of us do. It's not fun. And it causes a lot of stress and anxiety and tension. And it's worth the risk. No, it's not worth the risk, man. If that was your kid, maybe you'd think differently. Maybe you would think differently, Governor.
Yeah.
And I, you got a ton of them that are not vaccinated. Can't believe he said it's worth the risk for our kids. Wow, I was flabbergasted by that comment. I was flabbergasted. So here we are, a year and a half, almost 2 years later, and nothing. We just hope. We hope again. Hope.
Well, let's just put it this way. We're just frustrated because, a lot of things is based on what they said and what, it's just plain crazy. We're like not a roulette, but we're like a slot machine. They're just pulling the handle and just we see where the numbers fall. And I'm not one to gamble with somebody's life. Because if you make the wrong move, you know what the ultimate consequence is. The life that you're gambling with doesn't stand a chance. And for the life of me, I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they're trying to play half right and not so much wrong. Because they look bad, right? If you get half right and half wrong. So they say, no, you're half right. And and the other half is not so bad. Well, what do you consider bad? What kind of numbers are you looking at? What kind of percentages are you looking at? Nobody's going to say yes. Nobody's going to say no to those kind of things. So we move on every day as if something is happening. And yet, folks, everyone out there knows things are happening. When you get diverted, and for those of you that has scanners and you've constantly hear certain ambulance rigs on Oahu, and they're right around the corner from Straub, emergency room entrance, and they're getting diverted. What does that tell you? I think you got some medical facilities around there that otherwise would have had vacancies. They don't have vacancies at this time, right? So,
Charlie, they're putting up tents. They're putting up tents in the hospital facilities on Oahu. And it's not to give tests or shots. No, this is for house patients. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I just think about, Mel, what would you have done differently? I think the first thing I would have done was surround myself with experts that have no political agenda. That's the first thing. I wouldn't have, the business community that absolutely should have a seat at the table. I understand that. But they also got to understand that the government's role is to protect everybody. And if we do things right, if we do these restrictions, we only got to do it for a short time.
That's right.
You do it for a short time. But what he just did is not enough to drop the numbers, in my opinion. So it's the next step is going to be stricter, stay at home, lockdowns. We
No,
wanted to avoid that.
the next step, you know what the next step is going to be? Oh, this time, our brand new machines that tally the counts, we had a glitch in it.
Well, when you see the Iona Raposo name on a ballot for governor, lieutenant governor, you guys better vote.
There you go again, Nell.
I wanna go back to the kids again because I think, and I just saw Ed McDowell post a comment about the social education, the contact with people, with others is so very important. It's so
Yep.
very important. It is spot on, Ed. And I know, Ed, I know you know that it wouldn't have taken much to do a real quick emergency procurement to take care of our schools. Remember when the election time and the governor had promised air conditions in every class, and remember how easy that was? Man, we'll just, you know, the problem is it's not an election year for Ige, so he's taking care of the people that took care of him, and that's just the nature of this political game, and that's whether you accept that or not, that's the fact. And in a non-pandemic time, you deal with it, but this is not a normal time. So when I guess what I'm trying to say is we are putting our kids at risk unnecessarily. Unnecessarily. And every day we allow them to, they're jumping in buses, Charlie. They're in buses. Some of these buses, from what I am told, get 3 kids to a seat. The smaller kids, there's no restrictions. And we talked about the masks. The masks doesn't, if it's not fitted right, if it's too big, which a lot of these masks are, they're not getting the protection. And what I'm seeing in these letters, the parents are getting the notifications like a week after the positive test was administered or received. Something is wrong, and I just don't get it. I mean, put Charlie and me, and I have to grab a couple of our viewers in a room. Just give us about 4 to 6 hours with some resources. And I would say within 6 weeks to 8 weeks, if you stay out of our way, we could get these classrooms that needed to be expanded or setting up some outdoor classrooms. We'd get it done. We'd get it done. Any of you would get it done.
Yep. Yep. Well,
But they chose not to. And that's why, how you sleep at night when you know that you failed in your job. You failed in your job. That's the bottom line. Jeffrey says, doesn't matter, you're in control of your destiny. Absolutely right. And that's why I keep talking about the personal lockdown. You do what you got to do. But does the kids have a choice? Does the 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old can't even get a vaccine, even if they wanted one? Do they have a choice? They don't. They don't. So, we put the kupuna, rightfully so, on the top of the priority list, Charlie, the first go around. Now it's time to put the keiki on the priority list and make sure that we keep them safe. No kid should get this damn virus. No kid should get this virus from school, I should say, from school.
yep. I understand children, everything is about their social gathering, keep their minds fresh, right? Keep them pretty much in a position where questions may be a little difficult, but yet still they can answer it pretty clearly. And you as a teacher, you can see that, their best efforts and they focus on all these different areas in school. The only thing that I question is when we're looking at this virus and how it's acting, is it proper to bring children to the school and says, well, you know, we'll just test you every now and then just to see where this virus is at? And, I would already object because I said, gee, we don't have to be told how this virus is at. We just like know how, through science, how much more can this virus, how should I say, how this virus can actually start to multiply at faster rates, right? That's the kind of stuff that I would like to hear from the experts. Then they'll kind of tell me how to prepare my household in case we gotta literally outrun this thing, right? I would want to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe my wife is the type that she doesn't want to spend her time foolishly going over numbers, but I'll do it if it means that we get a better understanding and a better way of outrunning this thing. I'll do that. Right?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I know that it's hard to, put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Mhm.
What's been done has been done. We're paying the consequences now. Unfortunately, we are uh, feeling the consequences of poor management, poor decisions,
Mhm.
really for the last year and a half. We had, and I still believe this, and we had our people being told on a daily basis how minor, right, this was, how safe it was to go out, live your life. We gotta open up. We gotta, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear your mask. You don't, no worry, guys. It's not concerned. That provided a false sense of security. That provided people, Charlie, not everybody watches this show every night, right? Not everybody watch the news like I'm obsessed with this thing, not with the lieutenant governor. I'm obsessed with this crisis, with this pandemic. I try to get as much information as I can all day long. And so when people that are lay people, they go to work because they got to work and they come home, they got to feed their families. They don't have time for go and dig through all this stuff. So when you watch the news and you're hearing leaders say that it's not that bad, guess what? You think it's not that bad.
Yep.
You leave your mask in the car because it's not that critical, and then you, oh damn it, my mask. Well, if you knew how critical it was, then you would have your mask because you would just, I mean, hello. So there's just a lot of problems from the beginning, and like Mayor Harry Kim said, we have uh, we gotta come together, right? We have to come together because we're fighting this enemy. We have a common enemy, but it's hard when you're ready to go fight, Charlie. You like go fight. You sign out your weapon from the armory tent, and you run to the. You realize I don't have bullets. They never give me any bullets.
Mhm.
We got to go fight this war, and you're not giving me bullets. You're actually adding more enemies in the mix, and you're not giving me any bullets. We're gonna lose, and
Mhm.
people are gonna die. And that's I think for me the frustrating part, because I think in every organization I've ever been in, it was we worked hard to win and accomplish the mission, the goals, whatever it was, private or government or military. And it seemed like everybody was always wanting to win, but in this one, everybody's all over the place. Everybody got their own theories, their own plans, their own rules. I don't understand. Maybe you
Yep.
can help me, Charlie. Maybe you can help me understand.
Well, why it's hard to understand because we've dealt in our police careers, right? Trying our best to find the facts. And then what's given to us is that when we have an individual who's just shucking and jive us, then we have the right to, at that point, make the arrest and just take them in and just hope for the best, right? In
Mhm.
front of a magistrate or whatever. Why this seems hard is they queue off for they queue in on certain things that are said by CDC and everybody else under the sun. So they bring it to the forefront. So it looks like, hey, they get some valid they get some valid things that have been said. But in actuality, when things start to unfold, it's totally the opposite, right? And I think that's why we have a hard time understanding. We don't know if they're playing with uh, a wiffle ball
Mhm.
or a real ball. We don't know. That's why we're over here trying to see when the ball leaves their hands, what kind of pattern is it? Is it spinning? Is it tumbling? Whatever. And so I get to the point I says, bunch of baloney hogwash, these guys.
Yeah.
I wish I know had that because if you folks out there, if you know some police officers with peaceful attitude, they can get into a lot of trouble real fast. You know what I'm saying is it goes against everything I was taught in the police academy, in the recruit class. What
Yeah.
what what this state is doing. It goes totally against. It,
Yeah.
what it's following is a pattern. You know, remember what they told us about the patterns, right? Now they
Mhm.
tell you, hey, I know you like work DUI task force, but don't fudge the numbers. But DUI gonna be in front of you, I guarantee, but don't fudge the numbers, right? And you always get one knucklehead recruit, they're gonna fudge the numbers because they're so desperate into getting into the unit, right? And
Yeah.
they get caught with fudging their numbers, and guess what happened to their entire police career? Down the toilets because their credibility, because they think like, oh, it was only in front of this judge. Well, guess what, folks? Judges meet on weekends too. They're good friends. And even though they say, oh no, we are sworn to secrecy. Well, let me tell you, folks, loose lips sink ships, and sometimes some do talk. I have to believe that. I cannot say for sure, but some I believe they do. So that all that happens, and thank you for allowing me my rant and rave. Because
Well,
normally I don't do that.
Charlie, you remember way early on, and it was, I think we were having a discussion on the phone, not even on the show. And I said, it may have been at a show, I don't know, but I said, what the bigger problem, this is when COVID was very early, and no one thought that COVID was going to be here a year and a half later. And remember, I said, Charlie, this this governor, his major issue won't be COVID. It will be gaining the trust back from the people when it's over. Remember, and that was a long time ago, but that was when we thought COVID was going to be around for about 3 to 4 months. But the
Yeah,
people was already upset with the lack of transparency and the misinformation. And back then there was a valid excuse because COVID was so new
yeah,
and things were changing daily. But they cannot use that excuse no more. This with the length of time that the experts have been studying this virus and the characteristics of this virus, that excuse doesn't work anymore. Uh, because you guys should have known. Like I said earlier when we first started the show, when you go to a hospital now and you
yeah,
say, "Oh my gosh, it's bad," no, it's been bad for a while. You guys just never care because you were too concerned about what was the chamber going to say, what was the Merchants Association going to say, what was the HLTA going to say, what are these the unions going to say, what are that's what you guys were worried about. You guys weren't worried about what's the hospitals like, what are nurses going through. I think about our nurses and I just man, my heart just goes out to all of our nurses and all of the personnel at the hospitals that's gotta see. Remember last night, Charlie, you weren't on, but when Sean was on, the COVID survivor, and by the way, he's counted as a recovered. When he's one of those in the recovered column. And if you guys didn't see the show last night or Monday night, go to my YouTube channel. I edited out all me and Charlie stuff, only get Sean's portion on there. He's counted as a recovered. But remember when he said, you he said, only my pulmonologist thought that I was going to live. Everyone else thought that I was going to die. And Can you imagine that feeling though, Charlie? Going to work every single day,
Mhm.
and seeing patients that you think or you, in your mind, you know, are not going to make it, and having to do that all over the next day, all over the next day. And then you show up for work the next day and one of your patients not there no more. Every single day for a year and a half. Every single day for a year and a half. And today, the leaders show up and wow, God, some of them are working double shifts. You're not reading the paper? You're not paying attention? So I think we better start paying attention to these areas that are our lifelines. Charlie, if we lose nurses or doctors or therapists or support staff, you need nurses to have those beds open. Bed is just a bed. If you know what a nurse is, and we get nurses getting burnt out, we're going to be a world of hurt. We're going to be in a world of hurt. And maybe now they're seeing it, Charlie, but we are a little bit too late. A little bit too late.
You know, I go through this ritual every day. I go to bed depending if, like when I bring work home. I work till maybe 11 o'clock. Get a shower, jump into bed by 12 midnight, and get up at 3 o'clock and start the cycle all over again. So just tonight, my wife told me, I'm worried. I go, why? Last night you only had 3 hours of sleep. I get into a routine, but at least I have a conscience enough to know whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. When you've got 88 personnel under you and you do something wrong, you are expected to correct yourself in front of all 88. That's the only right thing to do. We got some state leaders that is responsible for over 2 million people in this state, right? You think at any given time they ever apologized or ever said, you know what, we were wrong? We talk about credibility right now.
Mhm.
I would buy into credibility if you at least met me halfway and admitted your faults. Because one person put on just a comment I read, there's so much confusion because a lot of information. You're right in a sense, there's a lot of information we're giving out. But see, for Mel and Charlie, we'll put it out there and we'll tell you, you take what you need. If you don't need anything that we're saying, then forget about this show. Join us for the next show. Maybe it'll interest you even more. But we're not force feeding you all of this. What I'm saying is that a lot of us got force fed a lot of false information. Well, I call it false because it just didn't seem right. Maybe the word false is wrong. But I know when the tune changes a little, then you can see maybe there's a little remorse. That maybe some things were said that maybe shouldn't have been said. But you know what? Even if he gave just a slight sense of, hey, I was wrong, man, to me, that would take your the credibility that I would have for you, it will take it to the whole new level. But it never happened. No. It never happened. So some out there might say, gee, Uncle Charlie, what you want? I says, hey, I just want to know that I'm not dealing with a robot. Because right now, that's how I feel. We elected robots. And you know what? Sometimes when the programming go off, if you don't recall that robot, guess what? Gonna walk right off the edge of the pier into the ocean and muck it. Look what's happening now. How can you say that? No, these numbers will never happen. Okay, fine. It's happening. Explain to me why is it happening?
Yeah.
That's
No.
all I'm saying. Tell me why it's happening.
I tell you, I can respect somebody for coming up and said, "Hey guys, I heard Blanzy already sort of said, he goes, the circumstances 2 weeks ago was different than it is today." Yeah, but you should have known 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But at least he came out and gave a justification. And I can respect somebody that comes out and said, "Hey guys, yeah, I'm sorry, I may have put out some information that was inaccurate. I was relying on the information that I had at the time, based on the information I get from our experts. Turned out that it, probably wasn't the right information. I apologize, but this is where it's at today. This is where it's at today, and forgive me." Nah, you're right, Charlie. Nothing. No, no. You go from hot to cold, and there's absolutely no transparency. I
Mhm.
think I think is part of the problem, and the only way that this administration right now in the state will get some credibility back, or some trust back, is starting off with coming out and basically saying, we're sorry, we made some bad calls. We should have listened to the experts, but they will never do it. They will never be trust, and we'll see what happens going forward. But for us here on our show, we just care about you guys. We care about our families and our loved ones, and want to make sure we provide information that can keep you safe. And I know we got people on here. We got people on here that's not vaccinated. We got people on here that's vaccinated. We got even anti-vaxxers on the show. We love and respect all of you, and hopefully we come across more Lorettas that, based on information. Again, it's not Mel and Charlie. It's not what we said. It was what our guest said. It was reading comments from all of you in the engagement that make people feel comfortable in getting a vaccine. And this is not the Get VR Vaccine show, not by no means, but it's trying to get the information out so you guys know what we're dealing with when it comes to this variant. This is a dangerous variant. It is very dangerous, and we got to protect ourselves. So,
Mhm.
Charlie, I'm going to let you take us home, Charlie, but I just wanted to, my closing thoughts is this. Again, people, I call it the personal lockdown. You don't need a government lockdown. You can still support local and take out. You can still do what you do. We don't have to lock this state down, but we got to be safe. I have a feeling that in the next week, our numbers are going to cross the 1,000 number, the 1,000 point, and then the exponential growth, because this restrictions that he added in is not going to make a difference. Just take my word, it's not going to make a difference. So expect more to come if we don't take it upon ourselves and protect ourselves. So those are my closing thoughts, people. I love you guys. I just want to say, Loretta, thank you. And for all of you that's been saying nice things and setting prayers for my daughter, thank you so much. Means a lot. Charlie,
Yes, sir.
take us home, buddy.
Well, what can I say? What can I say? Um,
Charlie, we're gonna have to come back with the flatten the curve pretty soon. With the ukulele, and not tonight, not tonight. I just not in the mood tonight. But if this curve no get flattened, we're gonna have to bring them out, bro. We're gonna have to bring them out.
well, while many of us are in the safety of our own homes, we have to leave that safety sometime, right? Go to the store, go to do our shopping, go to do our banking, whatever. I think we've pounded the drums enough time to know that people are very akamai. They know that they have to make sure they're safe at all times. But sometimes people get sick for no rhyme, no reason. They just get sick, and we don't know what happened. They may have gotten tagged by the virus. Unless they tell us exactly where they were when they got tagged, we'll never know. But I will say this, it is incumbent upon everyone, myself included, that when I come onto a platform such as this, I make sure that I can speak my mind, but I be honest about it and not be and not speak with forked tongue. Because if I am corrected, I think everyone out there would expect me to make a public correction in the form of even an apology. That's the only right thing to do. But I don't expect anything from this administration. It'll never happen. I've seen this before, and I'm already at 62. So I can say for a good 40 plus years, I've seen this happen. And it's just the way of life. Nobody likes to admit when they're wrong. But there is more at stake this time because we're dealing with lives. We're dealing with this virus. We're not even 1/10 of making a dent in controlling this virus. There's measures being taken right now that, and I asked this question, right, of our esteemed guest, Dr. Dworkin, that it seems like they're going to let this thing just burn out, like making a fire break and just let the fire creep up onto the break and burn out. Well, gang, sometimes they forget fires do jump the break and go light up on the other side. Then what? Now you get fires on both sides and you stuck. I think we're in that same situation right now. We are stuck. And all I can ask you to do is help me help you get unstuck. And let's just move forward. Let's not look behind us because what happened in the past is in the past. We got to look forward. We all know the mistakes that's been made. Let's move forward and not make those mistakes again. Okay? There you go, Mel. That's my closing thoughts.
Words of wisdom, Mr. Chewbacca. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, folks, thank you again for joining us tonight. Tomorrow night we're gonna have an interesting night. I don't even know what to expect, Charlie. We got Tyson Moises from the Grand Hyatt.
Oh boy.
We get Eric Hanano from the Big Island. I forget which property.
Mm-hmm.
And by special request, this one took a little work because I had to go above and get permission from the supervisor because all this crap.
Yeah.
But Rhonda Morris gonna be joining us tomorrow night as well.
Oh boy.
So guys, we're gonna have a very candid, open discussion from 3 employees in the visitor industry in the hotel. I am dying to find out what they got to say, especially with those guests. So please join us on Thursday, and then Friday, it'll be a kind of like a feel-good Friday. Like I said, I will be bringing on my son and my daughter to share. Please get your kids in front of the screen. We'll bring them on early at 7 o'clock so we can get through their story, and hopefully they can at least share reasons that will maybe convince others that the vaccine ain't that bad. All right, guys. As always, we love you guys. Stay safe. God bless. Don't forget personal lockdown. You don't need the governor's order. Let's do it. Let's get past this. All right, guys. Take care. Aloha.